In the late 18th century, France was gripped by turmoil. The old monarchy had fallen, revolutionaries vied for control, and Europe's monarchies circled like wolves. Out of this chaos rose an unlikely figure, a young artillery officer from Corsica named Napoleon Bonaparte. His rise to power was far from inevitable. It was the result of extraordinary ambition, tactical genius, an understanding of his era's opportunities, and a remarkable sense of timing. Napoleon's journey began in 1769, when he was born on the island of Corsica, then newly acquired by France. A provincial outsider, Napoleon spoke French with an accent and was not initially welcomed among the French aristocracy. However, his father managed to secure him a place at a prestigious military academy in France, where Napoleon excelled in mathematics, military theory, and strategy. Even as a student, his teachers noted his capacity for leadership and quick decision-making. When the French Revolution erupted in 1789, it tore down the barriers of privilege that had once kept men like Napoleon in the background. The old monarchy was abolished, nobles fled, and a radical spirit swept the land. The French army, previously led by nobles, now opened its doors to talent, not birthright. For an ambitious officer like Napoleon, these were ideal conditions. Napoleon first gained major recognition in 1793 during the Siege of Toulon, a southern city held by Royalists and allied British forces. As a low-ranking artillery captain, he devised an innovative plan to recapture the city. His strategy was so effective that it won the attention of the revolutionary government. Promoted quickly, Napoleon demonstrated both daring and resourcefulness, traits that would become his hallmark. Amid the anarchy of the revolution, power shifted rapidly. In 1795, Paris faced a royalist uprising. The government desperately needed someone to restore order. Napoleon acted decisively, assembling cannon on the city's streets and repelling the insurgents with brutal efficiency. For this, he was hailed as the savior of the Republic, and his reputation soared. Napoleon's next act was on a grander stage. Italy. Appointed to command the Army of Italy in 1796, he transformed a demoralized and poorly supplied force into a formidable military machine. Through a series of daring campaigns, he outmaneuvered larger Austrian and Allied armies, conquering much of northern Italy and bringing vast amounts of loot and prestige back to France. The young general became a national hero, admired by his troops and celebrated by the public. Yet Napoleon was not content with mere military glory. He understood that propaganda was a powerful weapon. He controlled accounts of his battles, ensuring that only tales of his brilliance reached Paris. His victories became legend, and his persona grew ever larger in the imagination of the French people. The revolutionary government known as the Directory was weak and corrupt. France's enemies threatened from without. Economic chaos and political discord festered within. Sensing opportunity, Napoleon returned from a campaign in Egypt in 1799. With a small band of loyal supporters, he staged a coup d'etat, overthrowing the Directory. The people, weary of instability and longing for order, largely supported him. In the new regime, known as the Consulate, Napoleon was first among equals. But it did not take long for him to consolidate power. Through a carefully crafted constitution, he made himself first consul, effectively the most powerful man in France. He reorganized government, stabilized finances, and enacted reforms that restored order. By 1804, with his popularity soaring and enemies vanquished, he crowned himself emperor, completing his transformation from provincial outsider to the master of France. His meteoric ascent was born of talent, audacity, and a shrewd reading of history's tides. Against all odds, Napoleon Bonaparte became not only the most powerful man in France, but a figure whose actions would shape the fate of Europe for generations. Napoleon's mastery of battlefield tactics and innovative strategies set new standards in military history. Renowned for his ability to outmaneuver and outthink his opponents, he secured stunning victories across Europe, often against overwhelming odds. His campaigns, from Austerlitz to Jena, not only reshaped national borders, but also revolutionized the art of war. Today, Military academies around the globe analyze his maneuvers, drawing lessons from the ingenuity and audacity that defined his remarkable career. Napoleon's early life was shaped by the political turbulence of Corsica and his family's quest for upward mobility. As a young boy, he attended military school in mainland France, where he quickly distinguished himself through his intellect and determination. Although he faced prejudice as a Corsican outsider, Napoleon's ambition fueled his academic and military achievements. These formative years forged the resilient character and strategic mind that would later define his remarkable ascent to power. At the École Militaire, Napoleon excelled in mathematics and military science, disciplines that would later define his tactical approach on the battlefield. His deep focus and prodigious memory set him apart from his peers, earning the respect of instructors. Graduating as a second lieutenant at just 16, Napoleon quickly embraced the demands of army life. These formative years not only honed his technical expertise but instilled a relentless drive that fueled his meteoric rise through the ranks. At just 16 years old, Napoleon emerged from the École Militaire as a newly commissioned artillery officer, distinguished by his relentless drive and academic achievement despite personal loss. The financial strain following his father's death only fueled his resolve, pushing him to excel where others might falter. This early test of character forged in him a remarkable resilience, shaping the young lieutenant who would soon carve his name into the chronicles of history. However, tensions soon arose between Napoleon and the Corsican nationalist leader Pasquale Paoli, leading to a bitter rift. Forced to flee with his family, Napoleon resettled in mainland France, where he fully committed himself to the revolutionary cause. Navigating the political turbulence of the era, he climbed the military ranks with remarkable speed. His adaptability, dedication, and loyalty to the ideals of the revolution set the stage for the extraordinary rise that would follow. At the height of the crisis in Toulon, Napoleon's keen eye for terrain and logistics proved decisive. He meticulously organized artillery placements, relentlessly besieging enemy fortifications and severing their lines of retreat. His audacious plan to seize strategic high ground broke the stalemate, forcing the city's surrender. The success not only restored Republican control, but also catapulted Napoleon into the national spotlight, earning him a rapid promotion and cementing his reputation as a formidable military innovator. At just 24 years old, Napoleon seized the opportunity presented by the siege of Toulon. Thoroughly analyzing the terrain, he identified strategic points to break the enemy's defenses and personally oversaw the placement of artillery. Through relentless determination and tactical ingenuity, he delivered a decisive blow to the British and Royalist forces holding the city. This pivotal victory not only showcased his military brilliance, but also led to his rapid promotion, marking his first major step toward lasting fame. This tumultuous period tested Napoleon's resilience and political acumen. Emerging from imprisonment, he swiftly reclaimed his stature within the military, refusing to let temporary setbacks define his destiny. Seizing opportunity in the chaos that followed the revolution, Napoleon's strategic mind and unwavering determination propelled him back to prominence. His ability to navigate shifting allegiances and political dangers underscored the remarkable adaptability that would characterize his meteoric ascent on the European stage. In the autumn of 1795, Napoleon's military career faced a moment of uncertainty when he was dismissed from the army list for declining a less prestigious position. However, fate intervened as Paris erupted in chaos during a royalist insurrection. Called back into service, Napoleon acted swiftly and strategically, deploying artillery to repel the uprising with brutal efficiency. His success on the 13th of Vendémiaire not only restored his reputation, but placed him firmly in the national spotlight. With the army of Italy under his command, Napoleon unleashed a series of bold maneuvers that stunned seasoned generals across Europe. He transformed an ill-supplied, demoralized force into a relentless engine of conquest, outmaneuvering the Austrians and shattering coalition resistance in lightning-fast campaigns. Each victory brought him greater acclaim back in France, as reports of his tactical genius and charismatic leadership captured the public imagination and established him as a formidable new power on the European stage. As Napoleon's victories multiplied on the Italian front, his reputation as a military prodigy soared across Europe. Each triumph, from Drenato to Castiglione, not only forced enemy armies into retreat, but also demonstrated his uncanny ability to outmaneuver larger opponents with speed and precision. These successes allowed him to dictate terms to former enemies and accumulate significant political influence. With each campaign, Napoleon laid the foundations for a new European order shaped by his vision and ambition.